Hello, you guys. How are you?
Oh, marvelous. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I feel honored.
Oh, I bet you do, sir. Thank you. Hey,
I actually do. I do. I've had guests on my show, and I know it's always nice to have a guest.
It definitely is, especially one as quick-witted as you, sir.
God bless you.
Yes, well, so I did a bunch of show research, right? So I was like, all right, I got to get.
You went on Wikipedia? Is that what
yeah, I found out your total worth, your annual income. The thing that actually bothered me the most is that you have a 17-year-old and a 7-year-old son. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and based on a bunch of these flirty clips I watched of you, I don't want any Ferguson boys showing up at my house. I have 4 girls.
It's you realize that's just pretend, right?
Yeah. Oh, Wikipedia's not real.
Okay. Yeah, Wikipedia's not real.
Hey, if you read it on the internet, it's got to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The internet tells you the truth every single time.
Absolutely. So you're coming to town. You're coming to the Quad Cities, Rhythm City Casino on Friday the 26th with the Hobo Fabulous Tour. Now, you've done a little bit of everything. And it's like, after doing some research on you, it's almost like you kind of get sick of doing this. And you're like, let's go do this other show now. I got a late show. Let's do the celebrity name game. You do a lot of writing. I mean, you're busy, man.
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it. That is it. But the stand-up has been a constant since I was a kid. I mean, I started doing stand-up when I was in my early 20s. And all these other things are kind of related to, like, you get asked to host a late-night show if you do stand-up. You get asked to host a game show if you do stand-up. You get asked to do these, and you get distracted by it, and it's all fine. But it's kind of like the reason why I wanted to go back to doing this kind of a tour was to go back to what interested me the most at the beginning, and is the reason why I've been doing this kind of stuff for 35 years, is that, to get back to the raw energy of just doing a stand-up that you weren't filming, that wasn't involved in corporate,
right, feeling the crowd and just, direct. You cut out all the middlemen. There's no TV cameras. It's just, you're there, you can see them laughing.
Right, and the thing is about it, I mean, I made a deal with myself and with the audience that the show that I'm doing, I'll never record this show. This tour is never going to be, I'm never going to make a Netflix special out of this. I'm never going to do, this is what it is what it is. And each night, each show is different because it's not, I don't learn the script. I have some stories, obviously, and some jokes that I tell, but really, the show that I do in Davenport will not be the same show that I do in Evansville or the same show that I do in New York or Los Angeles. It'll be whatever it is that night and that day.
Right. So you're basically, instead of, a lot of folks that maybe were on a show for 10 years, had your own late show, you do a monologue every night. It's different every night, or variations and stuff like that. And a lot of people kind of mail it in. They go on a stand-up tour, and then they just do the same act every night, and they get better at it as it goes. But instead, you're doing it Craig Ferguson style. I mean, watching all these clips of you with all these beautiful actresses, and it doesn't seem like anybody's reading cue cards during these interviews. You know what I mean?
No, nobody was reading cue cards when I was doing late night or when I was doing the game shows.
You just got it.
Cue cards. I don't want to do that. The thing is, I mean, you hit it in the head right at the beginning when you said, it seems like you do this, and you get bored, and you can do this, and you get bored, and that's true. And so what I wanted to do was, get back to making it interesting for me. So if I'm doing a show in Davenport, which I am, right?
Yeah.
I that day, I'll be looking at Wikipedia Davenport. I'll look at some things about Davenport. The show that night will have stuff about Davenport. That's because that's where everybody in the show is going to be from.
Yeah. Well, I
feel like that's a cool way of approaching it, and it keeps me interested.
Yeah, gives you something to do. You seem like, based on your resume, you're a pretty smart guy. You even do some, historical stuff. I mean, you're kind of all over the board. You're just not a guy that comes up with bawdy jokes with ladies, just as you're going. That was what stuck out to me the most, is just how, off the cuff you are. And is that just Scottish wit? I mean, what is that? It's just something you've got, like you've got it, like Mozart played the piano, you got that?
Yeah, I think Mozart getting a better part of the deal, though. To be fair with you.
Well, you're not done yet.
No, but I got to be honest. I think that catching up with Mozart's going to be hard at this point. I mean, I'm 56 years old, and I don't even play the piano yet. It's going to be tricky.
Well, it's your own piano, you know. It is the comedy, it's the stand-up, it's the quick wit, and it's fun just watching your clips. I mean, you still got the Rattlesnake Cup by chance?
I do have it somewhere. I'm in my office right now, and Jeff Peterson is sitting in a chair in the corner. He is still here. He's turned off at the moment. But he's still like a skeleton in a suit in the corner.
Yeah.
The horse outfit is around here somewhere. Yeah, I still have that stuff lying around.
Yeah.
I'm never going to use it again, but I have it.
Well, you should auction it for charity, right?
Yeah, I suppose I could do that.
Yeah, Jeff Peterson would probably fetch a handsome sum.
Hey, Craig.
Well,
Craig, this is Tim. I'm going to jump in here. You know, I'm an old guy. I didn't even start being a DJ till I was about 64. You're a young guy. You're 56. I'd kind of like to know, I know that you were in some bands, that stuff that I got off the internet, but when did you really know nothing else was for you except basically comedy? I know you've written some books. You really have done it all, like Aaron says, but when did you first know that you weren't going to stay in a band?
I think what happened with bands is it was dealing with really being with a bunch of other guys in a band. Because we were young and crazy, and we were always like getting into trouble and stuff. And I kind of got bored with that. And what happened was because I was in bands, because it was the time of punk rock was kind of emerging, or it was just after that. Bands, there would be like 4 or 5 bands playing in one particular show on one particular night, and they would get comedians to link the bands. And I was asked to do it, even though I was a drummer in one of the bands. I was kind of crazy, and I had a big mouth, and so they asked me to do it. And when you tell jokes in front of the audience like that, it kind of like, it's a real hit or miss situation, but when it hits, it hits really big. So I think then, the energy of talking to these punk rock crowds at the very beginning is what propelled me into it.
That's awesome.
The feeling of it's so visceral because there's no music, and you're not waiting to the end of the song to hear if they're enjoying it. It's like it's right there. It's completely immediate and completely in the moment. And I think that's why I wanted to get back to doing a show which was like that. This is original punk for me.
That's awesome. So sort of by accident, hey, you're funny, get up there.
Yeah.
Hey, crazy guy, get over here. Yeah, I used to do that, but it was just at keg parties.
It kind of was. It just kind of happened to me. I didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
And that's the way I still approach the work. There's a rough outline, but I don't really have an end game. It's not like once I get the show ready, I'm going to get 16 cameras and we're going to shoot it in the Coliseum. I'm not going to do that. The show exists when it exists, and that's it. And trying in my own life to be a little more in the moment, be present. Like you go to a rock concert, you see everyone filming the show on their cell phone. Getting a crappy movie of a concert that they're at. They're never going to watch the crappy movie, and they're missing the concert because they're trying to shoot a crappy movie.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I see people. I just went to a concert at the Tax Slayer Center here in the Quad Cities, and it was exactly that. There's all these people videoing. I'm like, why are you videoing? I'm just drinking beer. Like what?
Right.
Just enjoy.
Just enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Be in the day. Be in the thing. And that's what I wanted to do with it. That's why I'm doing it this way. That's why I made the deal with myself. Never record it. I'm not going to record it.
A little carpe diem, for sure.
There you go. A little bit of that.
Yeah. Now I got one of those hook questions to ask you. I've watched all these interviews with you and all these different people. Who are some of them? A couple that really stuck out to you through your career?
Well, I have to say, whenever I get asked this, the one that kind of pops out first is always Desmond Tutu. That's the one that I got a Peabody Award for talking to him the night we did an interview with him, and we talked about South Africa and what he and Nelson Mandela had done. And what I'm proud about that show is that we made the show funny, and Bishop Tutu had a good time, and we kept in touch, which is kind of weird.
That's awesome.
And it was, I felt like we really did a thing that night. We really, I managed to put together a monologue, not on my own, I will be honest. I mean, there was writers worked on it, but we put together a monologue which I think explained a little bit about the history of South Africa, where at the same time making it funny and then bringing out one of the architects of modern South Africa and the dismantlers of apartheid. It was a real cool thing to have done, and that kind of sticks out with me.
That's
and then
awesome.
there's other ones, people that were just, became friends, like Robin Williams, God rest him. Robin and I became buddies, and he's so cool, and he was a hero anyway, and then he turned out to be a great guy. We became buddies, and I still miss him, and and Carrie Fisher was another one.
Carrie Fisher sticks out for me.
Carrie. Yeah, I mean, Carrie was just beautiful and so supportive and so helpful to me right at the beginning as well. It was really, there's some real cool people, and you do a show for 10 years. I think I did over 2,000 shows.
Wow.
And you don't remember everybody; it's
No.
impossible. But you remember the real bad ones and the real good ones, and I'll never tell you the real bad ones because that's me.
Right, yeah, you don't want to do, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but the Carrie Fisher interview where she talked about how her father consoled Elizabeth Taylor, I thought was, that one sticks out for me watching your clips. That was classic stuff. And she just very off the cuff too, just like, yeah, this is what happened, I'm an adult, I can deal with it, it's fine,
She was, Carrie was a very, it's funny, I still have, when the reports came in that she had, fallen ill on that plane, I sent her an email, and, obviously never got to her, and, I miss her. She was a force for good in the world. I really miss her.
Right on. Well, I think you're doing pretty good yourself, Craig Ferguson. It's, just learning more about you was a fun experience in itself, and it's been fun talking to you. Tim, you got anything else?
A couple quick questions.
Guys, we have just one more question. Sorry, we're running a little.
No problem. Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
time.
You get the last one, Uncle Tim.
I wondered if you still flew.
Go ahead, Uncle Tim.
Hey, you've got that pilot certification. Do you still fly?
Sure. Yeah. I'm actually looking. Are you a pilot, Tim?
No, I am not, but I love flying. So that always sticks out at me when I notice something like that. I need to know if you're still flying, and I need to know if the Three Stooges really influenced you, because they influenced me. They were way ahead of their time.
Yeah, yes to both. Although I never used any Three Stooges routines in any flying operations. I feel that was crossing the streams and asking for trouble.
Definitely.
All right, well, Craig, it's been a real joy to have you here on the show. Thanks so much. We look forward to seeing you on Friday, October 26th at Rhythm City Casino here in Davenport. And have a safe trip. We'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks,
again.
Craig. Have a great one.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.